Good evening, all of you. And thank you very much for giving this good opportunity to discuss with you people. And as Mr. Sir discussed earlier, this bill has lot of issues. And instead of giving benefits to the fisherman, it affects the traditional fisherman's day-to-day life activities. I would like to put some of the few concern in the seafarer, in the fisherman point of view. This act will cover only in EEZ zone, which means only 12 nautical miles is today territorial water, and beyond 12 miles to 200 nautical miles plus high seas, which is coming around 188 nautical mile and above the beyond the limit. So this whole area will cover by the central government Indian Marine Fisheries Bill, and the government saying in the bill, the act shall not apply to the non-motorized traditional boats. We don't understand still where they have got the data that non-motorized boats are still being used. Even catamarans have been motorized now. So, for example, without having motorized boat, how the people, fishermen can go beyond the 12 nautical miles. So this is the main question from the people, because government is saying now, the central minister, he was giving the interview that there is an exemption for non-motorized traditional fishing boat. Our question is from the fisherman point of view, we are even the small fishing boats are having the motorized engines. So this is completely eyewash, and this exemption is useless, and this will not be very useful to the fisherman community, because everybody from smaller boats to bigger boats, we are using the motorized engine from smaller BHP to higher BHP. This is the first one. And second thing, all the fishing boats, like a very small boats too, we used to call Nattu Padahu, Sai Padahu, Vallam, in variety of names. It comes under the only one name called fishing vessel. It is, we are completely against this assumption from the government, because fishing vessel, it will be a bigger one, and traditional fishermen, we are using very small catamarans type of things, and or else 12 to 20 meters, something like that. But in this bill, everything is covered under fishing vessel. So and third point, it should be registered under Merchant Shipping Act 1958. So they said fishing vessel, and it should come under register under MS Act 1958. For the normal traditional fisherman, this will be very difficult. We cannot go as per MS Act 1958. Only bigger ships or merchant ships or bigger fishing vessel only go under the Merchant Shipping Act. As a normal poor traditional fishermen cannot go under all these rules and regulations, because there is a naval architecture design, and there should be lot of communication equipment, navigation equipment, surveillance equipment. So this is very difficult for the normal traditional fishermen to go with the MS Act 1958. So government should take resurvey, and they should rethinking of doing all the bills again. And the fishing license, as a fisherman, we are completely against the fishing license, because when once we are going for the fishing license, and a licensing authority will see the registration certificate of the fishing boat. So definitely the fishing boat should be registered under MS Act 1958. So without that, they will not give the license. Second thing, he will see the manning condition. How many people are there, fishermen, and what are the names. If the manning condition is not good, then they will refuse to give the fishing license. And third, seaworthiness and all type of things they will first analyze, then only they will issue the fishing license. Is it possible for the normal traditional fisherman to go about this? Only the corporates, otherwise fishing vessel companies can do all those things, but normal fishermen, how can he go about, how he does he know about the manning condition? It is very hard, and it is very difficult. Then the licensing fee, and very important things we don't understand still from the bill is charges for fishing. There is a license fee. First, there is a registration fee and there is a license fee. And third thing, there is a charges for fishing. And that which means we have to pay for fishing. So this is absolutely against the traditional fishermen's living conditions. And third, and another, this license depends on the areas of operation and depends on the boat type. So it will confuse the total fisherman, and every time this fishing license has to be taken from time to time. And other many things are there in the bill, and because they are concentrating on marine tourism, aqua sports, and other kind of passenger ships close to the seashore area. So recreational fishing. So those kind of thing, like a very fancy type of thing, government is concentrating. But the livelihood of traditional fisherman community will be completely affected by this law. And another point, and we are we are having good freedom to catch fish and go to the territorial sea and EEZ zone. So now with this act, traditional fisherman has to take different license to under 12 nautical mile. We have to take state government fisheries act license, and beyond 12 nautical miles central government license. In this bill they said it can be merged, but for example, if my boat is not registered under MS Act, and I did not get any registration certificate, for example, so I cannot go beyond the 12 nautical mile. And if something wrong, if I go without knowing the 12 nautical mile beyond limit, and I will be punished. And power of punishment and the authority will be given to Coast Guard. And another very big issue is going on with this. And there are many other issues. Normal fishing, what they are expecting, normal fishing boats are having the logbook or navigational equipment, communication equipment, everything under MS Act. If it is not fitted, then they will be violating the rules and they will be affected by this one. So like so many issues are in the bill, and we are expressing very small amount. And now recently in Chennai, last 9th August 2021, we had a very big protest against the bill. And we are forming the group called Tamil Nadu Puducherry Fishermen Federation. And I would like to ask Mr. Advocate sir, how do fishermen will go about this bill, and how to stop by the central government to before submitting the bill to the parliament? Thank you, sir.
Actually, that is the main point is state government should come forward first, because there is the territorial water, everything will be operated from the territorial water. That is the port, marine port, and ocean tourism, whatever it is from the starting point is the territorial water. So central government cannot deny, or central government of India cannot do anything without consent or without permission of the state government, because it is the question of federal structure of the country. And by this way, in which way they have introduced the bill, it is the completely against the federal spirit. It is the question of the in every steps which they have taken by the government of India in question of preparation of national fisheries policy 2020, even the blue economy. In question of development of blue economy, government of India also published their report in the September. And in question of blue economy, what will be the share of the state? That should be determined first. Not only fishing, there is a cargo, that is transportation, and so many exploration of the ocean minerals. So many things are there on. So that as a whole, central government cannot do alone. They should have take the consent and discuss with the state government. Maybe some state government they will give the consent, but some state government will be against this proposition of the Union of India. But basic question is whether the fundamental rights of the traditional fishermen is going to jeopardize or not. It is the question of the Article 21 of the Constitution of India, that is the livelihood of the traditional fishermen, that is the going to the jeopardize. And by this ocean tourism and so many things, the entire traditional culture will become jeopardized. That is in the name of ocean tourism. Rather, I can say, I am sorry to say, they are inviting the sex tourism also. It is they are going to jeopardize the social fabrication also. That should be discussed. Otherwise, the entire bill, promoting the bill completely violative of the Constitution of India, it is a violative Article 13. I am also, earlier I also told, are violative Article 13, Article 21, Article 23, Article 46, Article 246 also. How they will introduce? Bypassing everything. They are going to jeopardize the complete federal structure of the country. So that not only it is the question of fishermen question only, it is the question of Indian democracy. It is the question of Indian culture, traditional culture. It is the question of our diversity. So that if we think it is only the problems of the fishermen, no, it is not only the fishermen. It is the completely the traditional culture of different linguistic people, different types of people. Our country is a multiple diversity. They are going to jeopardize the diversity. My friend, he also mentioned it. That is the Aryan. They are trying to enforce, jeopardize the culture of non-Aryan's culture, Dravid culture. It is also the threaten to the Dravidian culture, plural culture, democratic culture. It is not only the fishermen, it is the entire sustainability of the entire Tamil nations, Telugu nations, and all the nations. India is not a single nation country. India is a different nation, different culture, different habit, everything is there on. This move of Union government, it is completely anti-constitutional, completely inhuman being, completely against the humanity.